Settling back here into this space. I chose this topic, patience, because I felt that is something that I am and have been challenging with for some time now. I'm trying to, as I'm like speaking, really diving deeper. Is it the core of where most of like, I would say, unpleasantness is stemming from? And I think it's one of them, as well as fear, which creates the anxiety. And being impatient is what allows me to keep revisiting suffering. I want to share just a section of the Dhammapada. And I really kept reading this, and I just really appreciated the words that just got to the point of patience and the benefits that you can cultivate within yourself from just practicing it. And it goes, "The fool thinks he has won a battle when he bullies with harsh speech. But knowing how to be forbearing, that makes one victorious. The worst of the two is he who, when abused, retaliates. One who does not retaliate wins a battle hard to win. Knowing that the other person is angry, one who remains mindful and calm acts for his own best interest and for other interest as well. He is a healer of both himself and the other person also. He is thought a fool only by those who do not understand the Dhamma." And it goes and also states that the greatest prayer is patience. And how often are we told to be patient, either by parents or coworkers, ourselves? Be patient, or patience is a virtue. And you hear it, it's popular, yet it is this virtue that, wow, just needs a lot of practice. Patience. And we can be patient in one area and impatient in another area, or we can just be overall impatient. And just how do we reverse that? How do we transform that impatient behavior into more patience and developing patience and tolerance while connecting and understanding and holding compassion for self and others? It sounds liberating just saying all of that. Sounds liberating just saying all of that. And we can even practice patience, not just with other people or with ourselves, but with experiences, right? With maybe, especially during this time where there's some people who are choosing not to be vaccinated, are being forced out of their jobs that they had for so long and not knowing what's next, and just being patient with that process. Maybe patient moving to a different apartment, to a different state, being patient with that process, and just being patient with societal issues or just everything that just seems so chaotic right now. Having that patience and that trust and that understanding of what it is and how we can just hold that, accept it, not try to resist it, and just be with it. Last weekend, I attended an event called Get Loved Up. And I've been going through some things, and one of them is insomnia. And I'm still working through that. I'm still holding that, still understanding what is causing this, and or exploring, investigating what's causing this. And I just knew that, okay, I need to kind of balance my life. Like, let's enter in more wellness. Let's enter in more self-care, self-love. So I decided to book the ticket and to have half the day of just getting loved up. That was the name of the event. And there was comedic yoga, then there was plant therapy and breath work. So I just want to, my little baby. So this is my plant, and it's one of the other reasons why I decided to talk about Patience tonight is because I named her Patience, and it was beautiful. So we were able to select the plant, and it came in the pot that it usually comes in when you go and purchase the plant. And we had to repot it. And as we repotted the plant, we had to name the plant and just talk to the plant and connect with it and just have the moment with it and go into a plant room. It was really beautiful, and just meditate with your plant, with your new baby. So I named her Patience, and I did, it was one of the first names that came to me when we were asked to name the plant. And I think in my subconscious, it came to me because like I mentioned before, this is something that I'm having trouble with. It's being patient in multiple areas in my life. And when we think of the word patience, especially in the Buddhist tradition of Theravada, for example, it is one of the 6 of the 10 perfections or paramis. Forgive me if I pronounced that wrong. I am still working with that Pali language. And patient is, again, the 6 out of the 10 paramis. And these paramis are basically virtues that we use to become awakened, have freedom and liberation. And when we practice these virtues, we also bring in, as we're practicing, clarity of wisdom, as well as this tenderness, this gentleness of compassion to all of them. So tonight I want to talk about the 6th one, patience, which in the Pali word for patience is khanti. In Buddhism, patience has 3 essential aspects. So we can look at it as patient with others. Some have also interpreted that as patience with enemies or gentle forbearance. The second one is calm endurance of hardship. So just having patience with the hardships of life. And the third is acceptance of the truth and just being patient with the ups and downs of life. And I just want to briefly just go through them and just explore how in those 3 aspects that we can practice this patience in these multiple layers. So the first one is being patient with others, practicing this forgiveness. So I was speaking with my best friend, and my best friend sometimes can overstep his boundaries. And I'm actually in this beautiful phase in my life where I am setting healthy boundaries, and not just in relationships with like a romantic relationship, but also with my platonic friendships as well. And even with family members. So having this new vibe of healthy I'm having like brain freeze right now, but boundaries, healthy boundaries. It's also kind of like interesting how conversations shifts when you start to really practice that. So anyway, my best friend just can really give strong opinions, so strong that he believes that these opinions are in fact true, that this is the outcome, this is what it is, this is true, and everything else is not true. So just having this conversation, he's basically telling me how I should move on with my life in details in a specific area. And I'm defending myself and my path and my journey, saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to just follow my own intuition. But thank you for, your opinion. And it got a little intense to the point where he was getting frustrated that I wasn't listening to him. And he just assumed what the outcome would be for not listening to his directions, and then hung up on me. I got a little boiled. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little boiled. But I understood. I wish I could give y'all like some details, but I'll just keep it like that. But I understood where his frustration was coming from and giving me advice that, one, I didn't really ask for, but the advice and his opinion came from good intentions, although the impact wasn't great. And in that moment, when I was feeling boiled up inside, I had to learn how to pause. I had to learn how to pause and connect with my breath and really not take the next action that I probably would have took without this practice, which is either sending a long book of text messages, when your fingers want to go like this, like, how dare you, or calling back. I just let it be. I connected with the breath. I forgave him for hanging up on me. And I was upset. But in that moment where I pause, and this is the first aspect we're talking about, right? Patient with others. That moment when I paused and reconnected with my breath, I was able to calm down my nervous system because I was triggered. I was triggered, and therefore the flight or fight mode came up. It arose. It was on. It was turned all the way up. And as I was taking my breath, which at first I was boiled, and I did say like, oh my gosh, how dare he? Like, I'm not going to talk to him ever again. Like, but I calmed down and I took my breath in and out for as long as I needed to. And I said, you know what? It's not that serious. It's not that serious. And why did I really even get mad in the first place? Well, I don't like when I feel that someone thinks that I can't think for myself. I feel belittled. I feel like not a lot of credit is given to me about how far I've come along with just trusting in myself. And I just felt like there was no trust within my own decision from this other individual. And I just felt unheard and belittled. And I've been going through that even when I was a child, not being understood or heard, and just feeling like I had to listen to others to just fit in and satisfy them. So this anger that I recognized and was able to explore deeper stemmed from my childhood. And I said, okay. Then after that, I understood him and how maybe not taking his advice probably upset upsetted him as well and created some suffering for him as well. And maybe he feels like people don't listen to him. I don't know. We never really spoke about it yet, but we're perfectly fine now. But just that exploration within my own practice stopped me in that first aspect of practicing patience, which is patience for others, stopped me from retaliating, stopped me from wanting to just go off. And I accepted the imperfection of myself and others. And that kind of like sums up what we can gather from the first aspect of practicing patience with others. Some people would even say patience with the enemy. There was a quote by Buddha that states, "Patience is when you're supposed to be mad, but choose to understand." That is so much strength. And it seems like that takes a lot of energy, but let me tell you, from experience, it's way more energy to retaliate than to just take a seat back, and just be with that moment in the best possible way with calmness and bringing in clarity. I guarantee that you will feel less exhausted from doing that than the opposite. So let's go into the second aspect. The second aspect of practicing patience is having patience with with hardships of life while on your path. And I don't know how many times I have to not just keep practicing on my seat, but off the seat as well. When I think of endurance, building the endurance to have patience for hardships while on your path, I think, because I'm a personal trainer, so I think about how we build endurance while we're training. And there's no shortcuts to that. You want to build endurance, you have to start little by little and build it up. So if we're really going to take this practice seriously, we have to understand to be patient with the patience, right? So we take it little at a time, practicing, and building up that endurance. And when we build the endurance, it's not to say that we're just becoming stagnant on everything that's being thrown at us. We're not being passive at all. Being patient with the hardship is very much so active. Again, just like working out, we're building the resilience, we're building acceptance, we're building compassion to what we identify as dukkha, suffering. And we keep doing this as if we're going to the gym. We keep working out that muscle, right? We keep building the endurance so that we can go for longer strides. So therefore, when I think of that, going for longer strides, I'm realizing that this practice of patience and practicing the patience of hardship on my path, this is I'm in it for the long run. This is the marathon, not a race. And this allows me to, as I'm building the resilience, building the acceptance, building the compassion, the clarity, I'm investigating more. I'm pausing more. I'm beginning again. I get back up. I slow down. I practice gratitude to just help me counteract what I feel is suffering. And this helps me to relinquish the need to know exactly what's going to happen next. I'm just here on my path, building the endurance. Okay, like you go to the gym, you see what your workout is. All right, let's go. I did this last time. Let's see if I can increase my rep or go a little longer, right? You just want to keep building up that endurance. So we do the same thing for our practice of patience. And I'm in the mindfulness meditation teacher certification program, and I noticed my thoughts on wanting to give up. I just want to okay, this program is just not for me right now. I'm just not connecting with it. And I wanted to investigate that a little bit deeper. Am I really practicing patience in this process? And I investigated that I feel overwhelmed in general. So and I'm in a lot of different courses at the same time. It just feels like college all over again. It's like, do I even want to stress myself out this way? Right? So I'm taking moments to pause and explore that. And just make that intuitive decision. Okay, I think I can do this. I think I can have patience and continue this program. So I'll get back up, I'll catch back up and keep going. Or I can say, with love, I let this go. And that's okay too. But we do that in a way where we're not acting on frustration. We're not acting on the overwhelming energy that we may had at that moment. We come to a place where we pause, explore, and make a decision based on discernment instead of judgment. And then the third is being patient with the ups and downs of life, or accepting the truth, accepting what is in the present moment. And we accept the pleasant, we accept the unpleasant, and we accept the neutral. Now, this doesn't mean that this might be extreme to say, but you're in an abusive situation. And that could be with your boss, with a romantic lover, with a family member. It doesn't mean that we accept it and not change it, but we understand that there's a saying, the first step to recovery is accepting what it is that you need to recover from. So if you are experiencing some form of abuse, but you resist to accept that, how can change really happen? So when I think of accepting the experience, I see it for what it is. Okay, this is pleasant. Okay, this is unpleasant. Okay, this is neutral. Okay, this is what's happening in this very moment. I am accepting the truth of what is happening. Do I want to stay in this moment of truth that doesn't feel good to me or is not serving my highest good? Or do I want to transform this, or do I want to leave it completely? All right. So we're just using, again, more discernment. We're coming and bringing the two wings of our mindfulness or insight practice, which is wisdom and compassion. And we're able to show up more intelligently and with more patience as we do this, right? So it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. Just like I said, it's like going to the gym. If you want that quick fix, I guess you go get surgery, but then you don't understand what it took to get there, really. Like, you really don't understand the process and how can we truly appreciate it. So we appreciate the process even more when we are showing up for practice. We show up for ourselves first, and that creates a domino effect of just goodness and awakening for other beings as well. We reduce the need to control, we reduce the need to demand, we reduce frustration, we reduce impatience, we reduce all that keeps us resting in dukkha, suffering. So I am so happy that I'm talking about this, because even if as I'm saying it out loud, it's, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how can I practice more patient in certain areas? How can I bring in more patience with my friends when they speak and we're bumping heads? How can I bring more patience in my relationships? How can I have more patience in my career? I'm shifting from doing one-on-one with clients, coaching, to now exploring online courses. And for me right now, it's just, I guess, with the overwhelming experience of life and lack of sleep, just educating myself on how to build my own course is also creating so much like headaches for me. But how do I cultivate more patience for that? Because that's what I want to do. What else can I do to help me bring in more better experience in this new avenue of mine? And also just recognizing that I am overwhelmed right now. I am taking on way too many things. I know that. I know. And I have to now start shifting things, but I'm not doing it in such a impatient manner, right? I'm doing it with clarity. I'm doing it with compassion. I'm doing it with a pace, right? So just to sum up this talk, just giving us like a list of the benefits of practicing patience, Khanti, the Pali word for patience, is that it subdues the ego. It cuts through the arrogance. You're able to practice more gratitude. You transform from being reactive to more accepting, from resistance to accepting as well. You're more open to the unknown, and you're using more discernment than judgment. So just taking that with you, these benefits of practicing patience with yourself, with others, with your career, with projects, with life in general. And I believe between being in traffic with our thoughts, or even on the road, or on that long line in the supermarket, there's a space that allows us to be, oh, sorry, there's a space that allows us to be bravely accepting and bravely living in what is. And that is this very present moment. So may we be at ease and peaceful. May we be free from mental anxiety and stress. And may we be patient in whatever it is that we are doing or experiencing. So it is, so it will be. Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you for your practice, and may the dedication of our merits extend to all beings all over. And it's just a wonderful joy to continue to create Sangha for not just us, but for the world around us. Okay. So thank you again for showing up for your practice. Thank you for your practice. And please feel open and free to donate. You can go to Southside Liberation website and go to their donation button. It should be on the bottom of the website, and share whatever it is that you can give. If you are unable to give anything financially, you can give us feedback on the classes that you're attending. And if you can't give us feedback or financial donations, then just give us good energy and positive vibes. I thank you. My name is Dominique Sade, and I'll see you again soon.